Most dog owners think shedding is just something you live with. It isn't. A 2019 study from the Journal of Veterinary Dermatology found that chronic excess shedding, the kind where you're filling trash bags with fur every week, the kind that doesn't stop between seasons, is directly linked to disrupted skin pH and low-grade inflammatory yeast buildup on the coat. Not a breed issue, not a genetic sentence, a skin environment problem, one that is almost always correctable. The professional grooming industry charges $65 per de-shedding treatment to address it. The fix costs 11 cents. If your dog is shedding constantly, not just the seasonal blowout that every double-coated breed goes through, but the kind where there's fur on your couch an hour after you've lint rolled it, fur in your coffee, fur that your house guests notice before they've taken their coats off, that's your dog's skin telling you something. Here's what it's telling you. A healthy dog's skin sits at a pH of roughly 7.5. Slightly alkaline. That alkalinity is load-bearing. It keeps the skin barrier intact, it keeps yeast and bacterial populations in check, and it keeps the hair shaft anchored correctly in the follicle. When that pH shifts, when it tips too acidic from cheap shampoos or too alkaline from overbathing with the wrong products, the follicle weakens. The coat loses its grip. Hair releases early and in volume. The grooming industry calls this de-shedding. They charge you $65 to treat it. What they're actually doing, the active mechanism behind every professional de-shedding treatment, the thing that justifies the price on the invoice, is restoring your dog's skin pH and disrupting the surface yeast that's accelerating the follicle release cycle. That mechanism has a Levention sense equivalent sitting in most grocery store aisles right now. You were not told it exists. There is a reason for that, and I want to show you the math before we get to the how-to. The liquid is apple cider vinegar. Raw, unfiltered, with the mother. Before you close the tab, stay here, because this is not a folk remedy from a wellness blog. The chemistry behind why this works is documented, specific, and has been known for longer than the pet grooming industry has existed. Acetic acid, the active compound in apple cider vinegar at a concentration of roughly 5%, is one of the most well-documented topical pH regulators in dermatological research. It has been used in human dermatology to treat seborrheic dermatitis, to restore acid mantle integrity after alkaline product exposure, and to suppress surface yeast proliferation. The mechanism is not contested. The chemistry is settled. What is less widely discussed is how long working dog owners figured this out before anyone put it in a $45 bottle. Farm communities were rinsing working dogs with diluted ACV for coat conditioning and skin health decades before the professional pet grooming category existed in its current form. Not because they read a study, because they kept animals for a living and they watched what worked. A diluted ACV rinse after bathing left coats smoother, shedding lighter, and skin less prone to the hot spots and yeast infections that took dogs out of commission. This was standard practice in rural and agricultural communities across the American Midwest, documented in homesteading literature and agricultural extension records going back through the mid-20th century. The knowledge didn't disappear. It just became inconvenient. Because here is what happened next. The commercial pet product market grew from roughly $300 million in the 1960s to a $46 billion industry by 2023. And in that expansion, the economics of what gets sold shifted completely. A solution that costs 11 cents per application and can be bought at any grocery store is not a product. It cannot be patented. It cannot be branded. It cannot be sold at a 600% markup in a bottle with a picture of a golden retriever on it. So it didn't make it onto the label of any $18 de-shedding shampoo. Not because it doesn't work, because it works too well and costs too little to be worth selling. Nobody sat in a boardroom and decided to hide apple cider vinegar from dog owners. That is not the argument. The argument is simpler and, honestly, more frustrating. The pet grooming industry never had a financial incentive to tell you. And so it didn't. The professional de-shedding treatment market is built on a repeat visit model. You bring your dog in for a de-shedding session. The shedding improves for 3 to 6 weeks. Then it comes back. You book another appointment. At $45 to $85 per session, a dog with a chronic shedding problem is worth $540 to $1,020 a year to a grooming business, as long as the owner doesn't know about the 11 cents alternative. The retail product side runs the same math. Furminator Deshedding Shampoo. $17.99 for 16 ounces. The active mechanism, pH restoration and coat conditioning, is achievable with 2 tablespoons of raw ACV diluted in water. The bottle costs $17. The 2 tablespoons cost 11 cents. This is not a conspiracy. It is category economics. A $46 billion industry is not going to fund the consumer education campaign that makes its products unnecessary. That is not how markets work. And so the knowledge that farmers used for generations quietly sat in agricultural extension archives and rural communities, while an entire generation of dog owners booked another grooming appointment and bought another bottle. You deserve to know what they didn't tell you. Here's exactly how to use it. What I've shown you today is one entry in a much longer list. The pattern, a cheap, chemistry-backed solution with a documented track record, quietly made irrelevant by the economics of the industry that replaced it, repeats across every corner of pet care. Dental hygiene, ear cleaning, skin infections, odor removal, joint support in aging dogs. In every case, there is a $1 fix and a $40 product sitting next to it on the shelf, and the $40 product is not working better. I will cover all of it on this channel. If this video changed how you see one of those $45 grooming appointments, subscribe before the next one, because the next video is going to do the same thing to a $200 vet recommendation that most dog owners accept without question. The information exists, it's just not on the label. Here's the exact method. I'm going to give you species-specific instructions for dogs and cats separately, because the concentrations are different and this distinction matters. What you need: raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother. Bragg is the most widely available. A 32-ounce bottle costs approximately $5.49 at Walmart or Target. Clean water. A spray bottle or a rinse bowl. That's it, for dogs. Step 1. Mix 1 part apple cider vinegar with 3 parts water. For a medium dog, 30 to 60 pounds, that's roughly a 1/4 cup of ACV to 3/4 cup of water. Scale up proportionally for larger dogs. Step 2. Bathe your dog as normal first. Get the coat clean. Rinse out all shampoo completely. Residual alkaline shampoo left in the coat is part of what's disrupting the pH to begin with. Step 3. After the final water rinse, apply the diluted ACV solution from the neck back. Work it into the coat down to the skin. Avoid the eyes, the inner ears, and any open cuts or hot spots. Acetic acid on broken skin stings, and a dog that associates this with pain will not cooperate for the next application. Step 4. Do not rinse it out. Let the coat air dry or towel dry as normal. The vinegar smell dissipates completely within 20 to 30 minutes of drying. Your dog will not smell like a salad. Repeat weekly for the first month. After that, once every 2 to 3 weeks as a maintenance rinse is sufficient for most dogs. Most owners see a measurable reduction in shed volume within 2 to 3 weeks. By week 4, the difference is usually significant enough that the people in your house notice without you saying anything. For cats, the dilution is different and the application is more limited. Cats groom themselves, which means anything on their coat goes in their mouth. At low concentrations, diluted ACV is not harmful, but the key word is low. Use 1 part ACV to 5 parts water for cats. Apply with a damp cloth or your hands. No spray bottles for cats. The sound and mist cause stress. Work through the coat from the back of the neck to the tail. Avoid the face entirely. Let dry naturally. Do not use this method on a cat with open skin sores, scabs, or active dermatitis. Get that looked at first. One important line for both dogs and cats. If the shedding is sudden, patchy, or accompanied by bald spots, skin scaling, or behavioral changes, that is a different conversation. Sudden patchy hair loss can indicate mange, thyroid dysfunction, ringworm, or a nutritional deficiency. None of which this method addresses, and all of which need a vet. The ACV rinse is for chronic diffuse shedding tied to coat and skin health. Know the difference. You now know something that the $46 billion pet product industry did not have a financial reason to tell you. The person down the street who just booked a $65 de-shedding appointment for the 3rd time this year does not know it yet. The family who bought the $18 bottle of de-shedding shampoo last week and will buy another one next month does not know it. A 32-ounce bottle of raw apple cider vinegar costs $5.49 and lasts the average dog owner 6 months. That is the math the grooming industry is hoping you never do. If this changed something for you, if your dog is one of the millions that's been shedding at a volume that nobody has actually solved, share this. Not for the channel, because someone you know has a dog that's been scratching the couch bald for 2 years, and they are 3 weeks away from another $65 appointment that isn't going to fix what 11 cents already can. The knowledge belongs to you now. Pass it on.